The weather forecast promised me clouds. There's no pleasing me, is there? The weather forecast promised me clouds, and we've definitely got some. I'm just not sure that they're going to be in a position that I can use them for a decent composition. I know, there's no pleasing me, is there? Today, the weather forecast said there was going to be clouds, and there are. Now the only thing is, I'm not sure how good they're going to be. I'm not sure they're going to be in the right place when we get later in the evening for sunset. At the moment, the clouds seem to be clearing over this way and building up over that way. And that way is where the sun's going to be setting, and ideally that way is the way I want to be shooting. We'll have to see. So when I checked the weather forecast and it said there was going to be clouds, I knew I had to come out this afternoon. Now, I knew that the cloud was fairly localised, so I did some checking. I had a look to see where the cloud was going to be sitting in this general region. I had a look to try to work out where I could go, where I would stand a chance of getting some nice cloud in the scene, and hopefully where the clouds wouldn't be blocking the sunset. I checked the conditions for low cloud, which there was none, middle cloud, which there was quite a lot, and that's probably what we're seeing here, and that's what could block the sun out, and high cloud, which was also a small amount, which is kind of what we're seeing up here. I checked the direction of the sun, and I had one final criteria for this evening's shoot, and that is I didn't want to be doing a lot of strenuous hiking, because although we've not had the extreme temperatures that some other parts of Spain and in Portugal have had, it's still really warm here, and even once the sun goes down it's still going to be very, very warm. And even carrying, my 3 litres of water, long strenuous hikes are not a great idea for me when it's as hot as this. It's a recipe for making myself bad. So I wanted something that was going to be relatively easy to get to. I don't mind 45 minutes to an hour's hiking, so long as it's not too steep and too difficult to do. So I've come up to the mountain. It seemed to fit all the criteria, and now we just got to wait and see whether Mother Nature plays. I've just checked out a possible composition here that might work. It's a bit too early yet, it's 20 past 7. Sunset is officially 5 past 9, but because there's mountains over that way, we'll lose the sun 8:45, 20 to 9 at the latest. So I'm going to need to get my composition dialed in not long after 8 o'clock and decide exactly where I'm going to shoot. So, time to carry on and do a little bit more exploring and see if I can find something to shoot. Even if things don't work out cloud-wise, I'll find something to shoot, definitely, almost definitely. Well, I'm fairly certain, hopefully. I'll carry on walking now, shall I? fear we're losing the light on the scene, as I was concerned about the clouds over in that direction, which is where the sun is going down, are actually getting thicker, and you can probably see there's very little shadow to speak of. But I found a composition that I actually quite like, and what I've got, there's a bush here in the foreground, which in an ideal world I wouldn't have there, but I can't find any way around it. Then I've got this tree, which I quite like. It kind of angles out from this wall here. It's quite a nice shape. And then in the background we've got a rocky ridge, and then we've got streaky cloud across the sky. If that sky lights up a bit later, that could be really nice. As it is, I think it's kind of okay. It'd be better if the light would actually break through a bit more, and if it was a bit later and the sun was a bit lower. We just have to keep our fingers crossed that the light breaks through. Okay, so I've got 16 to 35 lens on. It's at about 27 millimeters, and I've also got a circular polarizing filter on, although at the moment it's not doing very much because the light's just got too dim. But if that light does manage to break through, that can make a big difference. Okay, so I've changed the orientation. I've gone over to a portrait format and just pulled the focal length back to about 23, 24 millimeters. Makes a bit more of a feature of the trail going in. I think it works a little bit better, but again, we'll have to wait and see. It really depends on what happens with that sky. I've just tried adding a 2-stop soft-edged ND Grad onto the scene, just to darken the sky a little bit. F11, 1 second. Might just help to bring out a bit more texture in the sky. Okay, we're past sunset now and nothing happened. Well, I mean, obviously the sun set. It's just there was nothing to see because it was hidden behind thick cloud. And we're not going to get a post-sunset display in the clouds. It's not going to go all colourful and fiery. So I'm heading back to the car. Just goes to prove there's a delicate balance required. The last few weeks I've been out and I've had clear blue skies. And I've actually had some really, really nice light. If you take side lighting on a scene without any clouds in the way, you can get gorgeous shapes and tones and textures in the landscape. But you get boring skies. Today, I've got what I've been wishing for the last few weeks. I've got some clouds, but I've had no light. The light was pretty much blocked out completely by the clouds over in the direction of sunset. But nevertheless, I think one of the images I took earlier will still be nice. I took a few shots of exactly the same composition just as time went on. Although there was no direct light on the scene because of the clouds, the light did have some subtle changes and some subtle tonal changes. And of course the clouds moved a little bit, so there's some different cloud patterns over the top. And it would just be a case of having a look and seeing which ones work the best. And that'll be the image for today's shoot. Be careful what you wish for. Been wishing for clouds, got a bit more than I wanted. But I've had a lovely evening. Been beautiful out here. It's just cooled down a little bit now. It's still very, very warm, but it's cooled down a little bit, so it's a little bit more bearable. Anyway, I'm going to call this a video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have and you want to see more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you have, thank you very much. Likes and shares really help me to promote the channel, so clicking the little thumbs up button is a like, and of course if you want to share this video on whatever social media platforms you see fit, that would be fantastic. And of course comments. I welcome and love to read comments, and I always respond, so comment down below. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next video, bye.